Hey Cougs, it's Miss Youngquist. I'm going to talk to you today about the 5 basic sections of a student resume. So what you can see on my screen, this is your resume template, the one that you'll be working with for Ignite the Future. And we have it already set up, so really all you have to do is identify the important information and then you can plug it right in there. But first, I'm going to show you the 5 different sections that we felt was really important for you to have in your resume. The first section, that's this section right here, that's going to be your contact information. So the very most important thing that you include in your resume is going to be your name. It should be big and bold right here at the top. You want to make sure that you have put in a professional sounding name. If you have a nickname, you want to use your real first name. You also want to make sure that you have capitalized it correctly. I see a lot of 9th graders who forget to capitalize the first initial of their name. Your name is important, so make sure you have capitalized it. In this case, obviously the font that we're using is all uppercase, but for future purposes, make sure you're capitalizing that. The second thing that you want to put in to your contact information, you always want to make sure that whatever email or telephone number that you put in, that it is something that you check frequently. If it's an email or if it's a telephone number, that your voicemail box is set up. A lot of times if an employer can't reach you to ask you for an interview, they will move on to the next candidate. For our purposes for Ignite the Future, you just have to use your student email address. But we do want you to put in either your cell phone or your home phone number here as well. So this is section 1, your contact information. Section 2 is going to be your objective statement. Now, objective statements don't always have to be included on a resume. In fact, a lot of what I see is when you're down the line and you have a lot of experience and you're applying for a much more specific job, you don't need to include an objective. We have limited space on our resumes, so we don't want to fill it with stuff that is going to be something that the person who we're interviewing with already knows, right? So if you're applying, they already know that you're looking for a job in that industry or in that company. However, as a student, right, this is going to be your first job and you might not have a lot of other things to put on your resume. So we're going to include the objective statement. And the objective statement should be 1 to 2 sentences, a very brief description of what you're looking for. We've already filled that in for you. It says seeking employment to gain experience. You don't have to change that. For Ignite the Future, we want that to be the same because that is probably what you will use for your first real job application. We don't use I statements in resumes, so you'll notice I started right here with a verb. That's going to be pretty typical throughout our resumes. So that's section number 2. Section number 3 is your skills section. Now again, as a student, you don't have a lot of experience. However, you have learned a lot of skills through the things that you have done in school and maybe outside of school. And everybody has different skills that are really their own personal skills that are going to stand out. So you want to make sure that you are listing your skills so that your potential employer sees those like first thing. This is going to be really eye-catching and they want to be able to look at that list of skills and see if that's going to work for the job you're applying for. Now, with skills, there are different kinds of skills. So we include both hard skills and soft skills. So your hard skills are going to be things like certifications, if you're CPR and first aid certified. Maybe you have a food handler's card. You want to include that as well. Any other kind of certification, maybe you have the MOS Word certification, that is also going to be a hard skill. So a lot of times things that are specific for a specific job, those are going to be hard skills, and you can include those. Other skills that you have, those are going to be the soft skills. Soft skills are going to be things like punctuality. That means being on time. You want to look at being a team player. You know, things that soft skills are going to be things that apply to every single job out there, right? No matter what it is, you need to have good communication skills. Things like that. So we can list all of the skills that we feel like we have. A lot of these skills may come from our different experiences that we have, which we'll get into in a minute. And some might not. Some might come from just maybe you're really great at video games, so you can show that you have dedication, right? Or maybe you're at school every day, you took all of your classes early, that would be punctual, right? Things like that. There's lots of different skills out there. You can do web searches to find different skills, particularly ones that teenagers have. You can also look at potential jobs and see what skills they're looking for. And if you don't feel like you have those skills, you can start identifying ways to gain those skills. So that's section number 3, our skills section. Our 4th section is going to be our experience section. So looking at that, you can see on my screen, I actually broke this into 2 different sections, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to talk about them all as one. So your work experience, or any kind of experience you have, that could be paid work experience, or it could be unpaid volunteer experience. You're going to list all of these. You want to include the job title. And if you don't have a specific job title, but maybe you volunteered, you can just put volunteer. And then you always want to put where it was that you volunteered. So maybe if you were here at school and you were doing this with Community Service Club, you could put FJH Community Service Club. And say you're doing that throughout this year. So we could put 2019 to current because you're still doing it. We just started our school year. So this is a way of what this looks like when you're looking at how to put in experience. Another one might be maybe you're a lawnmower. So you could do lawn care. And then maybe you do lawn care for your neighbors. Let's call them the Smiths. So the Smith family. There you have lawn care, that's your job title, and Smith family, who you worked for. And maybe you did that over this last summer. So we could do summer 2019 as the dates. You don't necessarily have to be super specific with a student resume because you guys, your potential employers are going to know that you don't have a lot of experience. They're just looking to see that you have some things on here. After you get some of that experience in there, so you've identified what you did and who you did it for, and then when you did it, you want to summarize your key responsibilities in here. So you really want this to be brief. It's always great if you can include different skills that you learned. You don't necessarily have to duplicate skills from this section into this section, but you can if you need to. Really, when we look at our volunteer and work experience, we're going to see a lot of skills that we gained that maybe we didn't really realize that we did. But with lawn care, chances are you were responsible for the care and mowing of neighbor's lawn. And you're going to see that when I type these in, it's not going to be typical sentence structure. So I did not use an I statement. I started with that verb, right? And I really want to keep this brief. So responsible for the care and mowing of neighbor's lawn, showed reliability and dedication. There we go. Right, so I'm identifying a couple of skills that I know I had when I was doing lawn care. All right, and that's really all you need. You don't have to go into a whole lot of detail. You just want a short little synopsis of what it was that you did. All right, the same could go with babysitting, walking dogs, anything like that that you might have done. Down here in this section, so included under experience, you could also have any leadership experience or any activities that you participated in, maybe a club at school. And we just like to break this up for our purposes so that it gives your potential job interviewer something different to look at, right? So here, this might be more serious things. This might be more along the terms of sports and things like that. So when we're looking at club or activity, maybe it was football and it was for Emerald Ridge Jags. And then the dates, let's say you've done this for the last couple of years. So let's say 2018 and you're currently playing. So we'll do 2018 to current. Football at Emerald Ridge Jags, 2018 to current. And again, you're going to put in some of your responsibilities or skills that you have. So when you, as a football player, we could say showed teamwork and dedication through showing up on time to every practice. And I might narrow that down a little bit. So showed teamwork and dedication by showing up to practices. You could even say early if you were early. You never want to lie on a resume. You always want to make sure that what you're telling on here is the truth. You can choose to leave things out. You don't have to put everything in there. But anything you do put in there, you definitely want to make sure that that is the truth. So showed teamwork and dedication by showing up to practices early, working with coaches, and being at every game. And really, that's all you need. Doesn't need a whole lot of additional information. If in here, maybe you were the captain, so you could put team captain instead, or if you had any kind of additional role, you could put that there. Same goes for if you participated as a member of, say, community service club, right? And you don't have to necessarily put these job positions in here. You could just say community service club, and that would let them know that you are a participant or you were a participant. Maybe that was last year. So we do 2018 to 2019. And you could say, you know, assisted with planning and implementing. That's always a great word. It means you went through and carried out what it was you planned. Assisted with planning and implementing service projects for the school. And I would specify for Ferrucci Junior High. All right, and this could be if you were in a play or anything like that. All kinds of activities inside or outside of school. Any of those is going to count under experience. So again, it's paid or unpaid experience that you have where you earn some skills. Our very last section, so section number 5, that's going to be the education section. And down here, we already filled this out for you. So it says Ferrucci Junior High, 2017 to 2020. If you have not been at Ferrucci for all 3 years, you might want to edit that to be, maybe you just joined us last year. So you could say 2019 to 2020. Whatever it is that works for you, you will adjust here. Underneath that section, what you're going to see is you want to include anything in education that's going to make you stand out. So anything that's above and beyond the standard. So typically every student that goes through school has to do math, science, English, social studies, and then a couple of electives. Well, electives are definitely going to be specialty classes. And anybody who's done pre-AP, AP Hug, honors, any class that's an honors class, those are all going to be above and beyond. If you have taken any CTE classes, such as life issues or intro to tech, things like that, you can also include those here. So most of the 9th graders take life issues, so I'm going to include that here. Maybe you're taking a foreign language, so maybe you're currently in Spanish 1. and maybe you're in AP Hug. Right? And you don't necessarily have to spell this out. If an interviewer doesn't know what that means, they will ask you. As long as you have it listed here, for the most part, they're going to recognize that that's something above and beyond what the standards are. If you have any achievements, maybe you have a 4.0 grade point average or something like that, or anything else that was really special at school, you could include that. And you might also want to include any awards that you've earned. So for me, let's say, see if I can get Word to participate here. Here we go. Maybe you were the student of the quarter in May 2019. Right? That's a pretty big deal. You got some recognition at school for that. So you might want to include that. And again, your GPA, only include your GPA if it's above a 3.5. Pretty much you're looking at something that shows you're above average. So anything that makes you stand out, that's what you want to put in here. Anything that shows that you have some skills here, right? So life issues and Spanish, those are classes where you're going to learn skills. In life issues, you're probably getting your food handler's card, so we can connect those dots right there. In Spanish 1, you're probably learning how to be an effective communicator. So we have communications right here as well. AP Hug, I'm guessing that you're showing some dedication if you are able to get in there and pass that class, right? All of these things are going to connect back to your skills. So one last time, our 5 sections of our resume are going to be your contact information right here, your objective statement, your skills list, your experience section, and then your education. All right. I can't wait to see your resumes and look forward to it. We will give you some additional instruction later on, so stay tuned for that and have a wonderful day.